Hey everyone, this is Matt. Welcome back to my channel, Blind to Billionaire. How to use a cane for mobility. As some of you may know who have been following my channel, I am actually blind. I lost my vision due to retinitis pigmentosa. So today I want to show you and give you a little demonstration on how I use my cane just to help me get around and use it for mobility. So just a disclaimer, I actually did not go through formal ambulation or mobility training. Um, I've been using my cane for almost a year, and I actually, like I just said, I have not gone through formal training. However, I just use it in a way that works for me. So, what I'll do is I'll kind of just show you my cane, how I use it, and kind of just explain to you how I felt when I started using it and how I currently still feel when I do use it. So, this is my cane here. As you can see, it's a collapsible cane. I think it's maybe like a 48-inch roughly. So, this is typically how I carry it around. And when I want to use it, what's really nice is it's elastic, so I just go like this, and it kind of just assembles itself, which is really nice. Um, so anyway, I typically don't carry it around like this all that often. So typically when I leave the house, I'm always with someone. I've never actually taken my cane out and walked around a neighborhood or navigated a mall or grocery store or something like that. I've never done that on my own. Um, if I actually went through formal training, you would actually learn how to use a cane and be more independent like that. But like I said, when I leave the house, I'm always with somebody. But I always have my cane with me so that when I'm out in public, um, I can actually have my cane like this, and people understand and they actually give me space. So it's really nice to have the cane for that reason. So one other thing too is, as I mentioned, and you probably read in my description of the videos or of my channel, I travel a lot. So when I go to the airport, I always have my cane with me. So if you're ever traveling using public transportation or in an airport or anything like that, I would advise you to, even if you haven't gone through formal training, I would definitely recommend getting a cane and just carrying it with you just like this. Even if you don't know how to use it, it doesn't matter. Just carry it with you. And what I've found is people in airports, the staff in airports are incredibly helpful. They they're always looking out for me. They always come up to me. They approach me and take me through the wheelchair line. Um, they're just, I mean, it's unbelievable how helpful these people are in airports when they see you with a cane. So I would definitely highly recommend having a cane and taking with you when you use transportation like the airport, public transportation, anything like that. Just always have a cane with you. So um, so as I mentioned, I typically just when I'm walking with someone, I'm typically holding a hand or someone's arm, or if it's someone else like my dad, I'll typically have my hand up on his shoulder and we'll kind of be walking, and I'll use my cane and just kind of feel what's in front of me. So it gives me an idea of like what the terrain is in front. So if there's bumps in the road or if there's a curb coming, either up or down, if there's stairs, I find it's really helpful with stairs because you know, as all of you know, navigating up and down stairs is kind of a headache sometimes because you don't know when the stairs are coming. Sometimes you trip up and down, and then when you need to go down the stairs, what I used to do before the cane is I would actually kind of feel my foot out for the actual step, and then I would have to, feel my way down. And it just, with the cane, it's so much easier because as I walk, I just kind of slide the cane on the floor, and then I feel the step, and it's so much faster. I can just walk right up to the step, grab the handrail, and then just walk right down. And it's really easy. So that's really nice. One place that I do use the cane when I'm independent, on my own, is I go to the gym. I've alluded to this in other videos, but I like to work out. I work out 4 or 5 times a week, and I go to the gym. So one place that I actually do use the cane is when I go into the locker room. And the way that I do it is I find that this actually works a lot easier and a lot better for me. So my locker is inside the locker room, kind of like the first bank of lockers. So what I'll actually do is I'll open up the door and I'll walk in, and rather than holding the cane on the floor, I'll put it up against the wall at about this angle, and then I'll just walk in, walking, and then just have the cane lead me along the wall. And then when I hit something, I know that that's my locker. So I found that that's a lot easier. Um, it keeps me, a good distance away from the wall, and then I just walk like this, and it just guides me right along the wall until I hit my locker bank. So that's one place that I use the cane, and I found that that works really well for me. When I started going into the locker room, and using it on the floor, I would put one hand on the wall and feel the wall, and then just kind of go like this. And I found it's just not working well for me. And um, so actually, when I do go in the locker room like that, another really nice thing about the cane is I can't tell you how many people over the last just few months have come up to me in the locker room and say, hey, can I help you out? Can I help you get into a locker? Is there anything I can get you? And people are just so nice and accommodating when they see you with a cane. So I would highly recommend, if you don't have a cane, just get one and just carry it around. Even if you don't know how to use it, just walk with it and just have it in your hands. People respond to you so much differently when you have it versus when you don't have a cane. And I'm sure all of you can relate to this. If you don't have a cane and you're walking around and you bump into someone, you look like a huge jerk. And I get it, because I've spent years of my life doing that, um, just walking around bumping into people and think, something's wrong with me. And because my ego wouldn't allow me to use my cane. I couldn't do it. Um, but now that I've actually been using it, it makes life so much easier for me. So as I mentioned, I've been using this for almost a year now, and how I felt when I started using it, um, really insecure, very, I don't know if embarrassed is the right word, but I did not feel comfortable at all using it. Just having it, even if I had it out, I always tried to be hiding it. It's like I had it with me and I'd hold it by my side like this. Or if I wasn't using it for a minute, I'd quick fold it up and hold it in my hand. And I just felt really insecure about the cane and having it out and letting people actually see it. Um, Again, I think it just comes down to my ego again. My ego was getting in the way, wasn't allowing me to um, just be a little bit more independent. I was way too worried about what people were going to think of me and if they were going to judge me. So if you're going through that, if you haven't used a cane, or you're new to using a cane and you're feeling that way, um, you know, try to just whip it out and just use it. Just try to have it out as much as possible and just start to get comfortable with it. I understand that it's a really hard transition, to go from you know losing your independence and mobility and then trying to regain some of it by the use of a cane and just accepting that this is your new way of life. I get that, and it's hard, but I would definitely suggest doing it. You'll find that you have so much more freedom and independence. It's very liberating to use the cane and just have it out. So then, like I've already mentioned, people respond to you so much differently when you have it out. And so currently, the way that I use my cane and how I feel about it now is I still feel a little bit embarrassed. I still feel a little bit inferior to everybody else around me. Um, I don't know why that is. I don't know if everybody else deals with that too. If other people in this situation feel the same way, but um, it's still a little bit difficult for me. But I'm getting used to it. However, when I do travel, which I do, as I mentioned, quite a bit, when I'm at the airport, the second I get out of the vehicle and I start going to the airport, I have this cane out and I'm using it the whole time, and it makes it so much easier for me. Other passengers, make sure that I go first, and they hold the door for me, and it just it's just really easy, and it makes the experience at the airport, which previously was very stressful for me, makes it so much more seamless, and it just flows a lot easier. So that's kind of my experience, and with the cane, how I've been using it. And as I mentioned, when I leave the house, I'm always with somebody, and I'm typically, like I said, I'm holding hands with the person, holding onto their arm. They're holding onto my arm. I have my hand on their shoulder, possibly. Um, so maybe I'll just have the cane out in front of me, and I'll just kind of be, obviously I'm standing on grass right now, so it's not as easy. But if you're on concrete or asphalt, or maybe inside of some kind of store, like a mall, grocery store, something like that, you can just slide it on the floor. And what I kind of do is just maybe swipe it back and forth just a little bit, not crazy, but I mainly just kind of keep it right in front of me, and then I maybe swipe it just a little bit, maybe like 6 to 8 inches side to side. And I don't know if that's the right way to use the cane, but I find that that's what works best for me, to give me a heads up of what kind of terrain is coming. And then, as I mentioned, in some cases I do put it against a wall and just kind of run it against the wall if I'm going down a hallway or something. And and then again, I put it at somewhat of a lower angle when I'm going to stairs. If the person who's with me says, "Hey, there's some stairs coming," and I know it's to go down, I'll maybe put it at a lower angle and just kind of run it right off the edge of the step, and then I know where the stairs are. So anyway, that's my experience with using a cane so far, and just how I've been feeling about using the cane, and kind of preparing myself and getting a little bit more used to accepting the fact that um, probably using a cane out in public on a more regular basis is probably kind of my new normal life. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Otherwise, hit the like button and leave any comments or questions down below. And I personally answer all the questions or comments that are left on my channel. So thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Thanks again.